David, thanks so much for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having us, Keith.
Yeah, David, I'm excited to talk to you because we're going to talk about Nasuni, which is a company that has just proven technology. It's a platform play that's focused on a space that's only just growing exponentially, and that's the cloud. So if you look at your tagline, it's leading provider of cloud file services. So let's unpack that. What's Nasuni do?
Yeah, it sounds like a fancy term for something as simple as we help enterprises move their on-premises file storage to the cloud, which saves a ton of money, makes more flexible. It jives better with today's modern cloud-native applications. So essentially, I like to tell people over beer that we're the Dropbox, but for enterprise accounts. So big businesses that need security, scalability, and different levels of features than a consumer-based cloud file storage solution would deliver.
And this is technology that obviously is very current. Every company is thinking about the cloud in different use cases, but it's, Nasuni is a company that kind of was a little bit ahead of the market, but now is like in the lightning rod of the market.
You got it. Like a lot of startups, right? Our founder had a vision 10 years ago, Andreas, who I think you may speak with at another time. He was the CIO of New York Times. And back, 15 years ago, and they were doing websites, right? Like we all were. And storage was a big bottleneck for performance of things. And he got thinking about how to do storage better. And of course, he launched the company 10 years ago, but the world wasn't that ready for moving their sensitive file data to the cloud 10 years ago. Fast forward, in the past 3 to 5 years, we've had that hyper growth as the cloud adoption has gone through the roof. So we've benefited from that comfort level. And as applications and people move to the cloud, your data has to move with it or the performance is terrible, right? So that's a big driver for us. But yeah, we're in this unique position where we're 10 years old, so we have stability, but we act like a startup still because we're in the eye of the tornado, right? The market's moving so fast, we're growing quickly, so it's a lot of fun.
So what's the typical customer profile? Is it matter size or type of organization?
If you think about it, it's typically enterprises that have a lot of data, which just about everybody does now. And we focus strictly on what's called unstructured data. So that's the stuff that's not in databases, right? So, the Oracles of the world, and there's other cloud native services for structured data. That's block storage. We do something very different, which is the files that you and I use every day, whether it be Office files, Adobe files, Revit files, vertical specific files, but it's the things that we're working on day to day. So it's unique in that way. And so it's typically enterprises that have a lot of files that are being created and changed daily, but also dispersed, which after the year we've just had in 2020, a lot of people are dispersed. And it's not easy to have physical hardware in everyone's location anymore. You used to be able to have a headquarters, you'd have a physical box, sitting in a data center, supplying storage to Keith and Dave. That's no longer, a possibility. So it's typically larger enterprises. We typically say anywhere from 500 employees and above that are going to be prime Nasuni customers because they have the scale, security needs, and they want to find a way to get to the cloud securely.
So you're the chief commercial officer. So talk about your background and what led you to join the company.
Yeah, chief commercial officer is a fancy title for I own all the go-to-market functions. We couldn't come up with a better name. I was CMO before that, chief marketing officer. But I also had some of the inside sales functions. I've always, in my whole career, been in enterprise software from the days of data centers and hardware and things. And I joined about a year and a half, almost 2 years ago now, to help the company scale. I came from VMware and Veeam software before that as the CMO of business units. And I just felt like I wanted to get back to the growth scene, which is where I spent my early career. And I wanted to get back into the Boston software scene. I was actually commuting from Boston to the Bay Area for 5 years. So I needed to get back to my roots here in Boston. But that's a bit of background on me.
Now, what's the size of Nasuni as far as employees and plans for hiring ahead?
Right now, I think we're roughly around 350 employees. We had about 100, I think, over the last year. We were proud to be one of the companies that decided to, stick with the team during COVID. We didn't lose anybody either voluntarily or through our actions. We felt like this was a team that got us here. We were going to hold on and get through this. And we've been one of the lucky companies that this situation of COVID drove a lot of people to remote locations to work. That's not changing, as we all know, and that's driving companies have to address how they deal with file delivery and file storage securely to these people. So we actually have benefited from some of that acceleration of cloud computing. But we're about 350. I think we're probably going to grow another 100 in the next year. We're on a fast pace. We've been growing from a financial perspective between 35 to 40% compound annual growth every year. So really strong kind of upward trajectory. We haven't we've gone this way. We haven't had any dips yet, knock on wood, but things are going great.
So once someone does join the team, what's it like working there? Like, what's the day-to-day culture of Nasuni like?
One thing I loved when I joined, I really wanted to find a high integrity, transparent environment, and that's what we have. We, as I said, we're in that nice window of we've been around 10 years. We're in that revenue range of having some stability, so you're not worrying about quarter to quarter. But we still act like a high growth company. We're in the cloud. We're still only under 400 people, so we still have that. We have a lot of fun, but we're very transparent. From our CEO down, he doesn't hide anything. He tells the company everything. And, at times we'll make fun and say, is that the best decision? But he believes it is. And I actually agree with him. And that's one of the reasons I joined. So transparency, high integrity. I don't like to use terms like family because family's different, right? Family's your family. We're still work. But we have fun and we treat people with a lot of respect. And, we're fast paced. We want people that want to run fast, because this market is gonna move. Something is happening in this space. It's a matter of who gets there first. And so we're in a bit of a race when it comes to trying to get this market in our path.
Now, the job market's very active, which is good. People have options. So why is now the ideal time to join Nasuni?
Well, if you're looking for a disruptive technology, so I think a lot of people, we've hired a couple of people recently. I sat down with two of my brand new sales representatives Thursday past. And, when I asked them why they made the move, they said, listen, cloud, right, is going nowhere, great career aspirations. Data is growing exponentially, right? Video surveillance. Think of all the things that are generating files, right? So that's growing really well. So we have these two big hyper trends behind us. And, you get to work with the Amazons, the Microsofts, and the Googles of the world. There are three. We built our platform on top of them. So you get the benefit of working with the three biggest cloud hyperscalers, but still have the energy of a high growth company. And not to mention, we do believe this is a category creating space. This isn't a feature. We are going after a real category, a real company. We want to build a real company that can, deliver a lot of value back to our shareholders. We don't see this as a quick flip for a feature. It's just not that. It's a platform. It's a company. So if you're interested in, changing a category and disrupting a kind of traditional on-premises legacy enterprise category to something very unique and different, this is a great place to be.
Well, if you are interested in exploring opportunities at Nasuni, you can check out all their job listings on VentureFizz. Go to their company page, which is venturefizz.com/Nasuni, and you'll see all their job listings there. David, thanks so much for taking the time to walk us through all the great things happening at the company.
More than happy. Nothing more important than hiring the right team. So thank you, Keith.
Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. At VentureFizz, our mission is to share the stories of companies, their people, and culture. So if you're interested in more interviews with founders and executives in the tech industry, make sure you click on the subscribe button. Thanks so much for watching.